Use the referral link in the description to g2a.com for all of your Xbox codes, PlayStation codes and video games, and be sure to use the code CHES at checkout to get yourself 3% cash back. Hey guys, welcome to episode number 12 of the Newcastle career mode here on FIFA 19. In the last couple of episodes I asked you to leave me some feedback and some suggestions with regards to potential pre-contract signings for this January window in which we now find ourselves. January the 1st we have a game against Manchester United at home, having already won at Old Trafford this season, and then we'll follow that up with a game against Birmingham in the FA Cup away from home. It's the second game of the episode. We actually are still level on points with Manchester United after 20 games as they've lost half of their 20 games played so far this year. Pretty remarkable that is the case, to be completely honest, but we shall see what happens in today's episode. We say one league game, one cup game. We're 6 points above the drop zone. I'm very happy about actually, is it 6 or is it 8? Are they on 16? No, they're on 18. It is 6 points. I can't remember whether it was 6 points and they're on 18 or 8 points and they're on 16. So we're doing alright, basically. We're not doing amazingly well, but we're doing okay. Now, transfer budget wise, I've enough to be able to sign maybe 2 players on a pre-contract. I don't really want to sign any more than 2 players on pre-contract. I don't want to abuse the system and flood the squad with new talent when, we've got the next transfer window to use as well with regards to potential transfers in. You guys left me loads of suggestions for pre-contracts. A number of them perhaps slightly unrealistic. De Gea was mentioned a few times. Obviously, I'm not going to go for David De Gea on a pre-contract. There are a few others in there as well, like Gianluigi Buffon and 2 or 3 others that were just slightly out of reach, shall we say, out of realistic reach for the situation we find ourselves in at Newcastle right now. Whilst I could afford them, they just wouldn't come IRL. So I'm not going to try and flaunt the system and utilise that or abuse that to bring in players that really of the calibre that really we shouldn't be signing. But as you can see, there are a number of players on the shortlist here. Now, before we quickly run through, actually, someone on Twitter actually linked me a SoFIFA page that listed everyone that's available on a pre-contract at the end of the first window, which was very kind of you. Thank you for that. What I mainly want to look for pre-contract wise is a wide player, because of course we have 2 wingers on loan this year, Kennedy and Hudson-Odoi, who are my main left-sided wingers. I would consider bringing Kennedy in permanently next year. And maybe Hudson-Odoi as well, depending on what everything else looks like. Matt Ritchie's stats are starting to drop now as well, as he is 29 years of age. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as well. And of course, Jacob Murphy, whilst young at 23, isn't necessarily growing that well. And I'd consider selling him on to replace him as well if we brought in players of adequate quality via this pre-contract system, or a player of adequate quality with this pre-contract system. Also, central midfield, we've got the depth there, whereas we don't have it in wide roles, players of our own at least, obviously the loanees. And in midfield, I have Isaac Hayden, who's only 73 rated. We have Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's on loan. Jonjo Shelvey, who's decent. Ki Sung-young, who's decent. And then Mo Diame as well, who I'm looking to move on. And Henri Saive, I brought him back this year from loan to just have numbers in the squad, but I'd probably be open to, I am open to selling him on as well. So there are central midfield positions available in the squad for perhaps one of these pre-contract signings. Now, a number of them I still need scout reports on, so I'm waiting for those. So I won't be making massive moves in today's episode unless we get a number of scout reports back. A couple of goalkeepers actually, Strakosha and Areola. I would be open to replacing Dubravka, although Dubravka has had a very good season. But Alphonse Areola, 6'5", and he is 80 or 81 rated, I think, maybe 82. Depends how he's grown in this save. And Strakosha is also available on a pre-contract. He's 80 rated as well, I believe, or at least he should be. But we'll find out when the scout reports come back. With regards to centre-back role, we have Federico Fernandez, who I want to sell. Fabian Schär, who's obviously very good. We have Leyoun, who's okay, but I would be open to moving him on. And then on the other side of the coin, we have the youngster Wagner to to kind of be a young player coming through, and then of course Jamal Lascelles. So we've 5 main centre backs, but Leyoun, Federico Fernandez, I'd be open to selling. So I'd be open to bringing in another centre back. So Chris Smalling is an option, although he's 29 and his wages are very high. So on £110,000 a week, he's an option. Diego Reyes has good potential, supposedly, and can get into the early 80s. He's 77 rated at present. It's genuinely an option. And Ben Mee is another English option, but he's 29 as well. So I'm not sure about him either, but I put him on the list just so we could perhaps have an extra couple of options. But Diego Reyes is definitely someone I could bring in, and he'd be as good as Leyoun, or better than Federico Fernandez, right off the bat. So an option, but not my go-to option position-wise. Obviously, I want to get a central midfielder and a winger first if we can. With regards to the centre-mid role, we've got some CDMs as potentials with Christian Roldan, Eric Pulgar, and Nemanja Gadel as well. I'm waiting for scout reports on all 3 of those guys. Then we have Hector Herrera and Ander Herrera, who is perhaps the most unrealistic. Well, I don't know. He and Ramsey, probably the most unrealistic options that I've got on the entire list. Because I could have thrown Anthony Martial on the list as well, but meh. Again, it's another unrealistic one. Hector Herrera and Aaron Ramsey are kind of the more unrealistic ones I've got on the list. But Hector Herrera is a player we could bring in, although 28 years of age, he's not amazing. He's just kind of a bog standard all-round central midfield player. Great stamina though at 94. We also have Nemanja Radoja, Serb. I don't know much about him, but could be decent. Dennis Garmash. Don't know much about him, but could be decent. And then we've Alan Dzagoyev as well. Oh, actually, he's just joined that club, so won't be able to sign him. We'll remove him from the shortlist. I just noticed that. And then we've Alan Dzagoyev as well, who could be another decent all-round player. But again, he's 28 years old. And Herrera's 29. A couple of other 28. 28's okay, but 29 is perhaps pushing it a little bit. Then, with regards to potential CAM signings, Talisca, I was told, was pre-contract, but evidently he is not available on a pre-contract, so I will remove him. We have Miranchuk from Anton Miranchuk, Russian from Lokomotiv Moscow. We've seen Benzia as well from Lille. He used to be kind of a go-to youngster a few years ago when he was at Lyon. We have Ravel Morrison, also used to play for West Ham and Queen's Park Rangers. And then Miguel Almiron from Atalanta United. That's another option, but I don't know much about him, to be completely honest. But he's supposedly quite good. He can grow to like the mid-80s. Then wide roles. We have Jason from Levante. Looks like he could be pretty good. Albert Ellis, 4-star as well from MLS. Waiting for a scout report on him. Ibai Gomez is kind of a real last-ditch backup option, but as you can see, it looks like his stats are going to be pretty damn good if they've almost all of them have got stars next to them. But at 29 years of age, might be a one-season thing. And then on the left-hand side, Brahimi is the highest rated I've got on this shortlist, and probably the most go-to option for that wide role. He's at Porto at present, and I could approach to sign him. He's only on 25 grand a week. I think he's almost certainly going to be a player that I try and sign in this window. He's going to be the highest rated player that we're able to bring in. And then I've got a few wingers as well. Gil Diaz, Portuguese guy. Yeah, I think he's out on loan currently. Yeah, he's currently out on loan, so I can't try and sign him at present, but I put him on the shortlist anyway. Eduardo Salvio. Good technically, good physically as well, supposedly. We shall wait and see what his stats look like, but could be a genuine option. And then Roger Guedes, Brazilian, that is currently in China. But apparently he's recently joined that club, so I can't sign him. Okay, well, he'll get removed then. Then on the left-hand side, we have Ike Muniain, Spanish. I'm not sure how strong he's going to be. It's my only hold-up, really, with Ike Muniain. But he is a good player. We know that for sure. And then potential at striker, because I haven't really clicked with Muto at all. So that leaves Iosi Perez, Dwight Gale, and Maximilian Phillip. So it would be open to bringing in Munier. Perhaps he's going to be on a lot wage-wise because he's at Barcelona. Rejected a transfer move they rejected a transfer move for him from Bournemouth earlier on this season. Can play up top or out wide, which could be a good, kind of good for depth, really. Can play in multiple positions. Jonathan Caeri, he may be the same Caeri that played for Sunderland on loan from Argentina a few years ago. In fact, I will just quickly check this. Jonathan Caeri, were you on loan at Sunderland? Oh, it was West Ham. He was on loan at West Ham 2 years ago. For some reason, I thought he was on loan at Sunderland. I'm not sure why. But he's a potential option. He's at Dortmund at the minute. But I don't know whether... Has he recently moved? Yeah, he has recently moved as well, so I can't sign him. Great. Juan Camilo Hernandez is a youngster that's supposedly pretty decent. And then Mario Balotelli is available on a pre-contract. 28 years of age and 83 rated could be a good... Well, he's got 85 finishing, 89 shot power. Yes, he's Mario Balotelli, but it might be nice to bring him back to England, give him a chance again in the Premier League. So I have loads of options there for pre-contracts. Like I said, I don't really want to sign more than 2. And I think Brahimi's going to be one of them. So we'll wait and see what we get Scout Report wise. And wait and see what we get back Scout Report wise, and we'll see what we can do from there. But we're going to go and play Manchester United now, and then with Birmingham in the Cup the following weekend. So drop the video a like if you enjoy it. Do let me know continually your feedback in the comment section down below, and it will all be taken on board, of course. And then we shall perhaps act upon one of your other options. If you reckon there's someone else I should sign instead of Brahimi, or you reckon that there's a centre mid that stands out to you more so than anyone else, or maybe a centre-back or a striker, then do let me know in the comment section. But for now, we're going to go play Manchester United and concentrate solely on the Premier League. Manchester United, David De Gea in goal for them. Florenzi, Smalling, Bailly and Luke Shaw at the back. Herrera, Matic and Pogba. Man United starting a full-strength side here by the looks of things. Mata, Martial and Sanchez. Lukaku on the bench, maybe? Oh, wouldn't show me the bench, okay. Don't know why it does that. Sometimes it just skips the end of the graphic, which is frustrating. So what to see who they had on the bench. If it was Romelu Lukaku, who was potentially going to come off and attack me towards the latter stages of the game. Regardless of who's on the bench, it's a very strong starting 11, which sometimes you don't see from the bigger sides when you're managing a lesser side. So this will be a big challenge here against Manchester United. Like I say, we beat them earlier on in the season at Old Trafford, so they will want payback for that. That took a deflection and was awkward for David De Gea. So they'll want payback, but equally, we'll want to try and stay above them in the league. If we draw, we will do so, because we're above them right now. Here's Kennedy. Pull that back. That was meant for Shelvey. There is Shelvey. Key could spin, which he did do, but Matic jumps in and wins the tackle cleanly and calmly and comfortably. And here come Manchester United on the counter-attack. Thankfully, Juan Mata isn't as quick as he used to be, so he's not going to race in behind me with any sort of acceleration or sprint speed. And to Herrera and Chris Smalling, both on our shortlist, but are starting this game for United. But perhaps we can show one of them up here, or they can put in good performances to prove whether we should or should not consider them for a pre-contract signing. Herrera, Martial, Herrera again out to Mata. Good turn, trying to shrink him off, and I can't. Mata could pull that back and has done. Martial, Florenzi, Mata drops the shoulder well. There's the delivery. Pogba's there. Good save by Dubravka. Oh, Yedlin, that's not the best of clearances. Alexis fires wide. Strength from Pogba in the middle. Save from Dubravka. And then Alexis with the wild effort. First time on his left foot is a long way wide. Key into Philip. Twists one way then the other and then into Ritchie. Good footwork. Here's Key. Through there is Philip. Across there is Kennedy, but Florenzi cuts it out. That was a superb opportunity with the man over on the far side to get myself a chance to go 1-0 in front. And unfortunately, the pass just didn't quite come. Rephrase. Unfortunately, Florenzi defended very well. The pass was there, but the defender was aware of the man on the far side, even if he couldn't be there to mark him, and ensured that we weren't able to get it across to him. That's the closest we've come to actually creating a chance of our own, really, since we had the last long shot with John Joe Shelvey. Luke Shaw is potentially an option on a pre-contract as well, although I have 2 left-backs that we brought in this season, so I wouldn't really be open to bringing in another one. Philip with 2 efforts. First blocked, second straight down the throat of the keeper. After 31 minutes, we are still locked at 0-0. Trying to out-muscle him here. Trying to do enough. DeAndre Edlin has done enough. Luke Shaw will get to that though. He's very quick, of course. Oh, that touch was great. advantage played. Expecting the free kick to be given, but Pogba's won the aerial encounter. Luke Shaw with a nice turn, but we will get the ball away now. Counter is on. There's space here for Key, and then Kennedy's looking to make the run. But I could play Philip through. Maximilian Philip in behind here. He's my top goal scorer so far this season, but he's out-muscled there by Alessandro Florenzi, which is particularly frustrating, and he won't get in behind. 5 goals, 5 assists so far for Maximilian Philip. He's having a better season than anyone else so far this year. Actually, I think he might be my second top goal scorer. I'm pretty sure Ozzy Perez has 7 goals, thinking about it. But regardless, he and Ozzy Perez are definitely the 2 players with the highest return for me. We did start playing Dwight Gale a little bit more regularly, but he only has 2 goals. It feels like he has more of an effect on the team than he actually does. Went through a phase of playing Dwight Gale ahead of Maximilian Philip or ahead of Ozzy Perez. We haven't been in that good a run of form whilst we've been doing that with our front 2. We definitely seemed like we were in better form when I had Maximilian Philip up top with Ozzy Perez. Oh, how's that gone in? Couple of challenges that matter broke through there. 61% possession for Manchester United in the first half. They've been pretty dominant with regards to chance creation as well. Mata danced there, and then I thought here I'd done enough to win the ball, but it just rebounded straight back to him frustratingly, and then he's lashed it home. Great shot on the half volley. Dubravka, I think it was just a shot power that did him there because his hands were coming up as he went past him. 1-0 United at half time. Manchester United, that is. Off his cheek. Just come on for Key at half time. Ozzy with the 1-2. Richie will get that to DeAndre Yedlin on the overlap. I do have Maximilian Philip in the middle. Pull that back there though to Shelby. Richie just looked to bend it. It's a decent effort. It's well held by David De Gea. On target, looking for that bottom corner. I didn't feel like I'd been that creative in the first half, but actually, in the half-time stats, it said that we'd had just as many chances as Man United. And just as many on target as well. Max to deliver. It's a really good delivery, but unfortunately there's a defender in the way. So despite the fact that it felt like they were dominating the game because of the possession, actually we were just as in it as they were. It just sucks that they got the goal pretty much on the half-time whistle. I kicked off and then the whistle went for the break. So there is still a chance that we could get something from this game. Here comes Ruben Loftus-Cheek off the bench, driving forward. Get it across here. I should have played that as a through ball rather than a pass to feet, looking for Kennedy, and I've given it away frustratingly. Just over half an hour to go. We still trail by a goal to 0, but we are still able to get ourselves back in it, hopefully. That's Rashford. Here's the 1-2. Pogba. Herrera, Pogba, Martial. Matic. Bundled to the floor, I think, is probably the best way to phrase that. Pogba with the dummy. Forward, looking for Alexis Sanchez, but picked off. Richie will come inside here to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We've got another couple of substitutions awaiting to be made. Kennedy's about to leave the field of play, as is Ozzy Perez, but the 2 could link up here if it weren't for the block from Florenzi there. We've got the corner. Kennedy for Hudson-Odoi. Dwight Gale for Ozzy Perez. And Dwight Gale was very nearly under. Oh, actually, it was Fabian Schär. I thought it was Dwight Gale that was underneath that. Oh, Matt Ritchie's offside. Great. Pogba with a dummy. He does that a lot, actually, Paul Pogba. Just lets the ball run. You'd have thought I'd have learnt by now and been able to read it. Whose throw is that? Theirs or mine? I'm not sure. Anna Herrera goes off. It's my throw. Herrera actually played quite well for United in this game, I have to be honest. Although he's one of the eldest options we have on the shortlist. Or oldest options we have on the shortlist. Hudson-Odoi out to Philip Max here. Hudson-Odoi's arriving at pace. Drill it into the middle. And Chris Smalling's in the way. To be fair, both Smalling and Herrera have had good games. Oh, I was about to lament their poor passing, and then I went and played a poor pass of my own. Poor pass straight to Paul Pogba, and here's Martial. Could look for the Frenchman again, but he's decided to find Fred instead. Alexis, here's Martial again. We're well past the added on time, and the referee will allow them the corner. We're in the 95th minute when 2 were added on. I'm pretty sure they will just wind down the clock now. All ball does come in, and there's no point chasing after that. Referee's going to blow his full-time whistle. I'm not going to get the chance to counter. It's a defeat against Manchester United. That one broken tackle from Juan Mata, and then the thumping finish, enough to see us off here, unfortunately. We were more creative than them in the end and had more possession in the second half, but I just couldn't make it pay. I couldn't find a way past their defence or David De Gea. Fair play, Manchester United. Well played. Onwards to the FA Cup. Stockdale, Colin, Morrison, Dean and Pedersen. A 4-4-2 for Birmingham. Jutkiewicz up top alongside Adams, Magoma. Gardner in the midfield as well. Jota on the right-hand side. Let's see if Birmingham are any good. I'm hoping they're not. Jutkiewicz across to Che Adams. Into Magoma. Jutkiewicz. He does have Premier League experience, Lucas Jutkiewicz, so we can't write Birmingham off fully with regards to their attacking intent. Che Adams has definitely done bits against Premier League teams before as well. For Sheffield United in the Cup, I seem to remember. Although I might be mistaken. I might not have been against a Premier League team, but he certainly did bits for Sheffield United in the Cup against someone. Pretty sure it was against the top flight team. Colin forward to Craig Gardner here. He's definitely got a lot of experience. The majority of it in the Premier League too. Aston Villa, West Bromwich Albion, etc, etc. Dwight Gale will get this out here to Jacob Murphy. I'm playing a rotated side in the Cup, as we have done all season long. I'll try and play this around that way round rather than going straight to Dwight Gale. But unfortunately, Craig Gardner kept up with him there. 0-0 in the opening 11 minutes, but Birmingham so far actually look pretty decent. Wagner trying to outmuscle Che Adams but can't. Magoma played in down the left. How's your delivery? Decent. Layun heads it up but not away, and Che Adams has the header on goal, but that's easy for Freddie Woodman. Spins on it, lays that back to Pedersen. Forward to Che Adams again. Given away. Isaac Hayden. Hudson-Odoi is there. That's a nice turn. We'll go over the top to... Oh, well intercepted by Colin. Trotter. Oh, Hudson-Odoi's done brilliantly. Loftus-Cheek will look to quickly get it forward to Dwight Gale, which he's done well. And arriving here is Jacob Murphy. Oh, he just couldn't get the shot away. Win that header and we could still have a chance. Isaac Hayden down to Hudson-Odoi. Arriving here, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Again, cheek to Gale. Dwight Gale is going to drop to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It's going to drop to Dwight Gale. It's going to drop to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Oh my word, that is the luckiest three rebounds in 3 seconds I've had for a very long time. Ruben Loftus-Cheek gives us a 1-0 lead. I tried to shoot, it's squaring free to someone else. I tried to shoot, it's squaring back to the original player. I tried to shoot, and it's squaring back to the... Oh, Jesus. 1-0 Newcastle, I think, is all we can take away from that. And actually, that's a very good finish. That's a very good finish. Love that. Ooh, no, won't. There's a lot of rebounds going on here in this game. People winning challenges or blocking shots, and it's just squaring free to another player. That's a lovely ball in, and Muto with the header. That's 2-0. The quality's showing now. It might be a second string side out for me here, but it's still better than Birmingham City. Muto, whose future of the club is in question, genuinely, but he's done really well there. It's a very good header. 2-0. That's, I'm pretty sure, us through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. 2 goals in 5 minutes have sunk Birmingham here. There's still plenty of time to score more. Hudson-Odoi with a throw. If we can get a third before half-time, that'd be great. Not that I'm trying to do an impression of Tony the Tiger or anything. We'll take the corner if he leaves it. Thank you. See if we can get something from this. Jacob Murphy to deliver it. That's not a bad corner at all. Loftus-Cheek wins the header, but that's comfortable for David Stockdale. 4 minutes to go until half-time. Still a 2-0 lead. If I get to that first. Oh, I didn't get to it first. I got to it second, but we are still in behind here. And Dwight Gale misses the target. I even slowed down to get you on your right and open up the angle for the finessed effort. That's a terrible shot. Adams out to Magoma. Back there to Keftenbeld. Through the gap to Che Adams, who still got that pace in those legs. Wagner with him. Oh, lofted to the back post. Well, Jota rose well. He rose very well, but he couldn't find the back of the net. Keftenbeld going off. Not sure who they're bringing on in his place, but it's David Davis. He's a good player. Oh, that was poor. Good player, but is he going to be good enough to try and turn this game? I'm not sure. Jota tackled by Chilwell. Isaac Hayden just squeezes that to Ruben Loftus-Cheek before he gets closed down. That was meant to go to Dwight Gale. There we go. We found him. Ruben Loftus-Cheek making a great run. Oh, but the pass from Dwight Gale isn't good enough. Manu Trigueros gone to Inter Milan apparently. Very good move actually for win that. Oh, well up. for Inter Milan. Manu Trigueros is one hell of a player. Very, very good central midfielder. Jacob Murphy could whip this towards the back post, and he has, but he's whipped it straight into David Stockdale's hands. Chilwell with a throw back to Hudson-Odoi. What sort of pass that was? Here's Vassell. Looking to accelerate away. He's just come off the bench, Vassell. That was terrible from Leyoun. Vassell. Gardner to Vassell again. Back there to Gardner to Vassell. Gardner, devilish cross. Oh, stunning header. He's offside, but wow. What a header from Che Adams. Off the corner of bar and post and back out. Very, very close. Although wouldn't have counted had it actually gone in, of course, because of the offside. But still, really good attempt. Gale will poke that there, and Jacob Murphy will run onto it. And I want to try and get this back to Dwight Gale. That is a terrible pass. Time and time again in this game, I've tried to play the ball through the channel, like one side of a defender, by aiming my stick. And the game has purposefully played it the other side of the defender from where I'm aiming, just because it decides that that's the pass it wants to play instead. What's the point in having a stick to aim the pass if you're not going to let me aim the pass? You're still going to make your mind up for me. It's frustrating. Could be so much more comfortable in this game if a couple of my through balls, some of which you won't see because it didn't lead to anything and came from nothing, they'd actually just made their way through. We are still going to get through in the cup. I'd be particularly more frustrated and more vocal about it and more razy about it had... Oh God, the ball's just pinging around as it did in the first half. I'd be particularly more razy about it had it cost me the game or forced me to have to go to a replay. Nicely done. He one-sided his way. I'm not sure. Hit it anyway. Oh, there's a third. That's a great finish. All right, I'll calm down a little bit, shall I? Really, really good strike from Dwight Gale there. 3-0 with the last kick of the game. 2 goals in the first half. Put Birmingham on the back foot and basically decided which way the game was going to go. And then with almost the last kick, we confirm our dominance. Stunning finish from Dwight Gale. We're through to the next round of the FA Cup. Let's see if we get some scout reports back for some pre-contract signings. Right, we've had a couple of youngsters come back from loan, including Daniel Barlaser, the centre mid. But I've actually had a transfer offer here for Kieran Clark. 6.2 million from Monaco, which I will negotiate. I am very much open to selling it. In fact, Kieran Clark, I think, is a centre-back I forgot I had when I was reeling them off earlier. So I most certainly am open to selling Kieran Clark. I would like slightly more money, though, if you're able to give it to me. I know he's 29 years old, but they're going to accept 7.6. If you can give me 8.2, then you can have him. I'll probably accept 7.6 if they come back 7.7. Okay, I'm quite happy to accept that. Kieran Clark looks like he's on his way out, which means I will most certainly look to try and sign a centre-back on pre-contract. We have Federico Fernandez. Can I sell him yet? I can't. Leyoun. I view offers. Do I have offers for Leyoun? Oh no, I had one that I turned down. I would be open to selling Florian Leyoun. I haven't really used him that much, to be completely honest. I've been concentrating on Lascelles and Cher. Leyoun is decent, though. He is decent. Wagner, Kieran Clark, Yanni, he came back from loan as well. I've got loads of centre-backs. So, first team centre-backs, or squad, yes, centre-backs. We have Leyoun, Fernandez, Lascelles, Cher, Wagner, Kieran Clark. I just don't need Kieran Clark, do I? At all. I don't need... I definitely don't want Fernandez, and I don't need Leyoun. Leyoun's still... I mean, perhaps selling Leyoun to sign another centre-back would be selling for the sake of selling, and perhaps I don't want to do that. But he's not overly incredible for me, Leyoun. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. We've got a couple of weeks till the next game. Actually, I wonder if the next FA Cup round has been scheduled. Interest shown in me. Interest shown in Balotelli. Spurs looking at him on a pre-contract. That may well have already gone through now that we've advanced the full week. That would be frustrating. Final scout report on Ben Mee. 80 rated. 82 strength. 93 jumping. He's good, but he's 29. And it doesn't seem... In real life, yeah, I'd sign him. But on FIFA... Stats are going to start to drop, aren't they? Frustratingly. So I'm not going to be able to go in for him. Let's have a quick look. Has the next round of the FA Cup been drawn? It hasn't, although games have been moved. We've got Cardiff, Chelsea, and Manchester City. Presumably one of them had an FA Cup replay, which is why the game has been moved. So when the next FA Cup game gets scheduled, I'm not sure when it will be, with Cardiff City coming up as the next game. We'll play that in the episode tomorrow. There you go, tournament prize money. That will mean that another game has been rescheduled. And there is a number of scout reports as well. I'm going to go and have a look at all of those. We'll transfer offer for Dwight Gale that I shall turn down. Although he is a good player for me, I would be open to selling him next year. A loan offer for Muto, which I'll reject. I'll be open to selling Muto next year as well. Right, I'm going to go and have a look at all these scout reports. And then I'll cut back to you once I've figured out if anyone's any good or if anyone isn't any good. Right, so I've had a look through. And there are a number of players I am genuinely intrigued by. We'll start at the very top. Still waiting on full reports on the two goalkeepers. So unsure if I'll do anything there at this particular moment in time. Smalling, I'm going to say no to for now. Ben Mee, I'm going to say no to for now. Reyes, I'm still keen on potentially bringing in. I'll wait and see what you guys reckon to that. I mean, we might be better off, considering we have numbers at centre-back and already have the depth. I might be better off waiting till next season and then buying someone at centre-back, perhaps, once we've sold on everyone else. So I might hold fire there, but just kind of spitballing with regards to centre-back at the minute. Emmanuel Cadell is currently on loan, I believe, but we are able to approach the sign if we want to. 3-star skills, 2-star weak foot. Strong, good stamina, decent technically, 85 shot power, 82 long shots, 79 short pass. Looks like a good, solid CDM. 77 stand tackle, so he's an option. Polgar. Don't know about him. Still waiting for the full scout report, but he too, 3-star skills, 2-star weak foot. Medium-high work rates compared to medium-medium work rates, so would be more suited to the CDM role. But he's recently just joined Monaco, so I can't sign him. Okay, I'll remove him. Roldan, it just quite simply isn't good enough, unfortunately, so he's getting removed. Ibai Gomez, even though he had stars next to all of his potential ratings, technically he's decent, but physically, no. He's not as good as it looked like he was going to be. Albert Ellis, however, does look decent. Very quick, and technically can be trained. There's potential there. There's potential there at just 22 years of age, 76 rated, although there are going to be better options for us. Jason, 3-star skills, 4-star weak foot. Not rapid, but no slouch. Technically better than Ellis, that's for sure. Hector Herrera in midfield and Ander Herrera, we're aware of their particular abilities. Hector Herrera would be okay, actually, but I'm not sure whether I'm looking for okay at this stage. Alan Dzagoyev would be decent too, but again, is decent what we're looking for. I mean, for Newcastle, probably, actually. Decent is probably good enough. 80, 81 rated. Radoja, 52 acceleration, 38 sprint speed, and not exactly amazing technically. I'm going to remove Radoja from the shortlist. Brahimi out left. I'm still pretty sure I'm going to try and bring him in. Almiron, very fast, good agility, and not that good balance, actually, to go along with that. Technically, he's all right. He's an option for sure, but I'm not sure whether he'd suit. Like, his finishing, I mean, I could train his finishing, and he's 76, but I don't know about him. I really don't. 2-star weak foot, high work rates. Ravel Morrison, not exciting me, put it that way. Yassine Benzia also not looking like he's going to excite me. Moranchuk is quite simply not good enough, so I'm removing him. One player I was actually surprised by how good he is Eduardo Salvio. He's 4-star, 4-star. Great physical stats. Technically looks good too. Ball control is high. Dribbling is high. Short passing could be trained a little bit, although it's more crossing that you want, and 78 is decent. Gil Diaz, also 4-star, 4-star, 6 foot tall. Acceleration 80, sprint speed 89, but technically just not there yet. Although, again, could be trained and he's only 22. Mario Balotelli, still at Nice. Offers, it told me that Spurs are interested in him, but oh, there you go. He's already signed a pre-contract with another club, so he has signed with Spurs. So I can remove him. Meunier, no, I'm going to say no to Meunier. He just doesn't look good enough, to be honest. Well, it's not that he doesn't look good enough. He's not a big enough improvement, I think, is probably the best way to phrase it. Ike Muniain looks like he's going to be okay. Strength is going to be a concern, though, but still not sure about him. And Juan Camilo Hernandez looks good, actually. 4-star weak foot, only 3-star skills, 5'9", quick. The rest of his physicals are okay. And then technically could do with some training, but 79 finishing at 19 certainly bodes well for the future. So I could potentially look at him, but he's currently out on loan and not available to sign on a free, and I can't afford his transfer fee. So for me, at the minute, I'm looking at, to be fair, actually, two wingers. I'm looking at Brahimi and I'm looking at Eduardo Salvio, and then thinking central midfield-wise and centre-back-wise of improving next season. But I will leave all of that in your hands for now, and then we shall approach it again in the next episode tomorrow. So we kind of narrowed down from everybody that's available on a free contract to a handful that are available on a pre-contract that we consider, thanks to your feedback. And we will again narrow that list even further and maybe even make a move for someone tomorrow. Drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Actually, what I wanted to show you was that the next round of the FA Cup has been drawn as well. And we have West Ham United. So we'll play Cardiff and Chelsea tomorrow. Then it'll be West Ham and Manchester City the day after that. And, oh, you already know. And transfer deadline day 2. And then we'll push forward into the rest of the season. Hopefully finish comfortably mid-table. Although the defeat against Manchester United has meant that we've dropped back down to 15th. And are now just 3 points above the relegation zone. Although I have a game in hand, which could be very, very important. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.